Welcome to the Benning Report. Coming up in this edition, Rangers receive the Distinguished Service Cross.
And the Army crowns its small arms champion.
Later, hear Armor students fire the Abrams. Welcome to the Benning Report. I'm Katie Cook.
And I'm David Wright with the Fort Benning Public Affairs Office. Thanks for watching.
The Army recognized the heroism of 2 soldiers at Fort Benning by presenting them the nation's second highest award for valor. Melissa Bell shares a story of their courage under fire.
It was supposed to be a typical mission for the 75th Ranger Regiment. But after a suicide vest and multiple IED blasts took the lives of numerous soldiers and wounded many others, everything changed. For 2 soldiers responding to the aftermath, their extreme and selfless actions have earned them the Distinguished Service Cross. Staff Sergeant Jeffrey Dawson and Sergeant Brian Anderson.
On October 5th and 6th in Western Kandahar Province, you upheld the prestige, honor, and esprit de corps of your Ranger Regiment. You moved further, faster, and fought harder than any other soldier. You did not fail your comrades, and you never left a fallen comrade.
The events of the mission escalated quickly as a suicide vest was detonated as well as numerous improvised explosive devices. Sergeant Anderson, serving as a platoon medic, endured 7 IED blasts within 10 meters. Suffering injuries, yet continued to traverse an area littered with IEDs to render aid, saving the lives of 2 fellow soldiers while treating several others.
I didn't even think twice about running to any of those guys. They're essentially my family. Yeah, it's an easy decision. If you have a family member that's laying on the other side of the room bleeding out, it doesn't matter what's in between you and that family member. You're going to go over there and try and help them.
As IEDs continued to take the lives of fellow soldiers, Staff Sergeant Dawson, an explosive ordnance disposal technician, placed himself at the lead of maneuvering elements to ensure safe passage for teammates while identifying 10 more IEDs in limited visibility conditions, despite suffering from blast effects and shrapnel to the legs.
It feels pretty interesting to be called a hero. Honestly, when I got back that night, people were coming up to me and giving me hugs and, telling me thank you. They heard great things about me, and I didn't really understand because I was just there. I'm doing my job.
In addition to the 2 Distinguished Service Crosses, the combined actions from the team that night were recognized with 18 Army Commendation Medals for Valor, 11 Bronze Star Medals for Valor, and 1 Silver Star. Melissa Bell, Fort Benning TV.
A new course is being offered at Fort Benning that will change the way we teach marksmanship while focusing on the fundamentals. Melissa Bell brings us the details on what you can expect from the Master Marksmanship Training course.
After over a decade of war, Fort Benning is getting back to the fundamentals of training and breaking ground on a new course that will impact marksmanship training Army-wide.
The Master Marksmanship Training course gives a basis of fundamentals that already exist in doctrine today. And what we do is we draw those fundamentals out and we overlay experience and understanding of ballistics, understanding of weapon systems, and how to shoot.
Experts from the U.S. Army Marksmanship Unit have evaluated marksmanship doctrine, determined the most effective teaching methods, and come up with a 5-week course that starts with basic rifle marksmanship, followed by more advanced long and short range training.
How can we improve on that? How can we make you better? How can not only you engage targets at 300 meters, but now you're going to engage targets at 500 meters and 600 meters. Effective fire is not the volume of fire that you place upon the enemy. Effective fire is an overwhelming firepower. If I can keep the enemy's head down with 1 bullet or 2 bullets versus keeping the enemy's head down with a 100-round belted machine gun, I'm being more effective. I'm being more efficient, and I'm being more lethal. That's what we want to train our soldiers to do.
With insight into ballistics, atmosphere, wind, and pressure, soldiers not only walk away with information that has improved their shooting skills, they will also walk away with teaching, coaching, logistics, and management skills to teach these courses back at their units. giving an exponential return to the force, which is why NCOs are the target students for now.
The non-commissioned officer will be able to provide that advice to that young lieutenant or that young captain to say, this is what we need to develop marksmanship within our platoon or within our company or within our battalion. This amount of time, this amount of bullets, this is what it's going to take us from this point to this point.
As the Army draws down, every soldier counts more than ever. With an increase in expert marksmanship trainers, developing soldiers and leaders will receive an increase in marksmanship training to produce a smarter, faster, and more lethal force that has mastered the fundamentals. Melissa Bell, Fort Benning TV.
Stay tuned for future editions of the Benning Report, where we will bring you in-depth coverage on each phase of this course.
The last edition of the Benning Report showed you how IPREP screens soldiers to determine their risk for injuries during basic training. In this edition, we take a look inside the initial entry training, physical resilience enhancement program to see what happens next. Before basic training, soldiers were screened through a series of tests and movements. Using the results, some of these trainees were referred to IPREP at the fitness training unit, where they will spend 3 weeks learning about injury prevention and increasing their overall physical performance.
Musculoskeletal injuries are a big problem, not just in initial entry training, but in the Army and the military as a whole. And I think if we can establish this knowledge base on future soldiers, hopefully we can begin to work on this rather large problem.
Today, these soldiers will complete 7 movements from the functional movement screening, which are scored on a 0 to 3 scale. If they can't perform at a level 3, they are given an alternate position to repeat the movement. Their scores will determine what exercises soldiers can use to help correct any deficiencies.
The goal with that is really twofold. One is identify weak links that might make them prone to injury, and then to develop corrective exercises that are going to correct those weak links, make them less prone to injury, but also make their bodies more balanced.
Other strengthening exercises are implemented throughout the 3-week course, such as total body resistance exercises, or TRX, where soldiers use body weight resistance to challenge their mobility and stability. In order for these soldiers to complete IPREP in 3 weeks, they must score 14 out of 21 points on the FMS screening, complete 20 sit-ups in 1 minute, 20 push-ups in 1 minute, and run a mile in 9 minutes.
The IPREP is important because we're making sure we take care of our most precious resource, who are the soldiers. And by doing that, by creating this program, we're trying to reduce injury rates.
Roll those heels to your buttocks.
But physical performance isn't the only aspect the cadre analyze. In order to get a holistic view of the soldier, they look at character and personality. There are 4 pillars to IPREP: physical performance, injury prevention, soldierization, and mental resilience.
Are they performing poorly, but what's their motivation and effort like? Do they look like they're going to be a good soldier, somebody that's going to be successful, not likely to get injured downrange, but just needs a little more help in the IPREP?
After spending 3 weeks in IPREP, soldiers are typically well prepared to continue on to basic training. Katie Cook, Fort Benning TV. Coming up next, armor students take to the range in the M1A1 Abrams.
Each year, soldiers from across the Army gather at Fort Benning for the annual All-Army Small Arms Championship, hosted by the Army Marksmanship Unit. Soldiers competed with the M16 rifle and M9 pistol over the course of the 5-day event.
During Day 1's rifle events, soldiers engaged targets of known distances up to 500 yards, a task made tougher on Day 2 when they first had to complete a 1.5 mile run before hitting the firing line. The transition from high cardiovascular activity to the steadiness needed to aim accurately added to the challenges of the week.
The environment's a factor, your position's a factor. It's not just your trigger squeeze and your breathing, but now you're doing it while moving. You're doing it in 18-mile-an-hour winds like we had on Day 2, I believe.
You have to be able to engage the enemy at distances from 7 yards all the way out to 500 yards. These weapon systems will do it. We prove it in these competitions that current weapon system is good out to 500 yards, no problem.
Fire. The M9 pistol is a weapon that is fired far less often by soldiers, but is one a small arms champion must command proficiently. Both the pistol and rifle events were scored a point value for each round fired.
coming together and competing is just a way of, enforcing everything that you know in marksmanship. When they come to this match, we give them some classes, we teach them a little bit, we pass on the knowledge that we have to those soldiers, and hopefully they'll take it back, to their soldiers and their units, and so on and so forth, and it, infiltrates throughout the entire Army.
The week culminated with the multi-gun event, where soldiers moved swiftly through a range while engaging multiple targets using multiple weapon systems. While the accuracy was only graded on hit or miss, the multi-gun range is a timed event, so a smooth transition from the rifle to the pistol was vital in the race against the clock.
The most fun event is definitely the multi-gun. Soldiers, they have fun going out there. They get to run around. They get to shoot targets up close, shooting them on the move, which is something that they normally don't do.
Competition week provided an opportunity for soldiers to have fun. Now, they must go back to their units and pass on what they've learned, enhancing marksmanship throughout the Army. The winners of each event received awards, with the overall title for the 2015 All-Army Small Arms Champion going to Sergeant Major Brian McKibben. For a complete listing of all category winners, visit facebook.com/USAMU1956. David Wright, Fort Benning TV.
The Armor Basic Officer Leaders course ended its second phase of training with a cumulative exam, testing lieutenants on machine guns, vehicle and ammo identification, and their ability to run tank scenarios using the proper firing commands. This is not your typical final exam. In addition to classroom requirements, lieutenants testing out of the second phase of ABOLC must complete 3 tank scenarios. The first, the tank is in a defensive posture while firing at a target 1,500 meters away.
The second scenario is all machine guns. There's no main gun rounds during that scenario. The tank commander has to successfully be able to engage a set of troops with the coaxial machine gun on the Abrams, and then halt the vehicle so he can fire the unstabilized 50 caliber machine gun.
To complete the third scenario, the tank must fire from the offensive posture while on station. The students are graded based off their firing commands, and they gain points by hitting the target. While other parts of ABOLC require learning on a more individual basis, the live fire in Phase 2 requires students to work together on the battlefield, and their scores reflect their teamwork.
The entire crew is also then being graded as a crew, so it's 2 lieutenants working together as a team. If one lieutenant does really well but lets his battle buddy fall behind, then he's going to suffer because they're graded together, so their score is an average of their 2 scores.
As buddy teams are graded on their ability to use proper firing commands, cadre keep a watchful digital eye. Camera systems are in place throughout the facility, inside and outside of the tanks, to allow the instructors to see and hear the soldiers' performance.
When you're in the moment, it's kind of muscle memory now, and you just go through all the correct steps. But then afterwards you think, oh, did I say ceasefire? Did I say the right thing? But that video feedback helps to really add the value to this training, and I hope to be able to take that home.
Another part of the exam tests officers on machine guns. They have 14 minutes to clear, disassemble, assemble, perform a function check, load, and execute immediate action on the M240 and the M2 heavy barrel machine gun.
The M2 heavy barrel is the tank commander's actual personal weapon system on the tank. He's the one who's going to be using that weapon system, loading that weapon system, so it's critical for them to know exactly how to use that weapon system. Knowing the M240 and how the M240 functions assists that tank commander when he does go to a unit. They're going to know how to troubleshoot and assist their crew with that weapon system.
Part of Phase 2 requires students to spend time in a classroom setting. They have 10 seconds to properly identify vehicles by name from a slide. Students are also tested on ammo identification.
They have to see the case bases of the 120 millimeter main gun rounds and be able to properly identify a round by seeing the case base or by seeing the actual round itself.
Once these students successfully complete the second phase, they move on to the third phase of ABOLC, the tactics phase. Katie Cook, Fort Benning TV. After the break, meet the newest members of the Audie Murphy Club.
For soldiers preparing to transition out of the Army, the idea of moving into the civilian sector can be daunting. Fort Benning has always supported these soldiers, providing opportunities prior to separation that can place them in the best possible position for success. Fort Benning's new Soldier for Life Center makes this commitment even easier.
All transition services are now together in a single location on Fort Benning.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor to be here today as we officially open the Soldier for Life Center. Soldier for Life, not only does this say we recognize our soldiers' commitment to our Army, but also our Army's commitment to our soldiers.
The services located in this building are designed to prepare a soldier for civilian life and give him or her the best chance at a new career. Here, soldiers can learn what benefits and entitlements they may receive, as well as conduct job searches, build resumes, and receive transition counseling.
Now our soldiers at Fort Benning can access these resources they need for civilian success in a single integrated location. This gives us better opportunity to support them and ensure they're getting the quality of service and care that they need.
Fort Benning Transition Services Manager Eddie Perez is committed to giving soldiers and veterans the best possible chance at civilian life. And to him, this means educating employers on the varied skills and values a soldier can bring to the workforce.
We need to train the employers. You know, like I always say, we have everything from ninja killers to surgeons. We can shoot them, fix them, and bring them to your hole.
The new Soldier for Life Center provides a central location for education and career events. It also includes 16 classrooms where 9 different colleges teach classes for credit. It is all part of a concentrated effort to prepare soldiers for transition and match them with a potential future employer.
This facility under one roof allows those employers to come here, sit with us, train, find what soldiers are the best candidates for them, and then later on hire those soldiers to go on and have new careers with them.
The Soldier for Life mission is to prepare veterans and employers for each other and to create the best possible matches for both. Veterans leaving service can strengthen the nation by bringing values and dedication to employers, schools, and communities.
Today is about far more than just opening a new building. It's about putting our commitment to taking care of soldiers and their family members in action. We talk about doing it, and now our community can see that is just exactly what we've done.
To learn more about the Soldier for Life program, visit soldierforlife.army.mil. David Wright, Fort Benning TV.
Leading from the front, in their units and the community. That's the motto of the Sergeant Audie Murphy Club and is a way of life for 3 NCOs at Fort Benning.
Cecil Pearson.
The Sergeant Audie Murphy medallion doesn't come easy. The 3 NCOs inducted today have spent years preparing, studying, and pushing through endless boards in order to obtain the powder blue ribbon and medallion draped around their neck.
They don't let up on you. They test you mentally to the point to where you have 3 people asking you questions and you're trying to figure out which one to answer first.
A member of the Audie Murphy Club must go above and beyond the call of duty. In addition to boards, they must possess strong character traits and be active in the local community. While most members have infantry backgrounds, these 3 inductees have a wide range of jobs within the military, like Sergeant Leanne Gardner, who serves as a supply sergeant.
My background, which is supply, and it's very rare for us to come around to do this type of board, being in a dominant infantry world. So for me as supply sergeant to come through it, it's pretty amazing.
Helping others is what the Audie Murphy Club is about. Sergeant First Class Pearson does this on a daily basis, as he aids soldiers who get hurt during basic or one-station unit training in the Warrior Training Rehabilitation Program.
The biggest thing I told my peers, subordinates, it's not about what you do anymore, it's about what you can do to influence other people. I think the Sergeant Audie Murphy Club is a good instiller that somebody can see me and is like, okay, I want to be like him and try to shoot for something better and strive for excellence in what they do.
Drill Sergeant Kennedy wants his soldiers to realize that being inducted isn't just for him, but for those he leads.
It's a level of leadership that people should strive to, that they can lean on when needed, that they can come to a Sergeant Audie Murphy member whenever they need information on how to take care of soldiers, how to develop or mentor them, and how to train them. I want my soldiers to see it as a sign of professionalism, dedication to them, and to the Army as a whole.
Leading from the front and demonstrating to subordinates and peers what outstanding leadership can do.
We challenge our leaders. We put opportunities of adversity on them to see how they will react and respond. And these leaders who was inducted today have responded accordingly.
Katie Cook, Fort Benning TV. Coming up next, it's Lobster and Love at the Benning Club.
Although Valentine's Day has come and gone, we'd like to show you how Fort Benning's Directorate of Family and Morale, Welfare and Recreation helped couples celebrate it in style, and how MWR can bring you the answer to the question of what to do at just about any time of the year.
Valentine's Day 2015. It was Fort Benning's very first lobster night, with the evening's special guests flown in just for the occasion. Couples gathered at the Benning Club to enjoy a steak and lobster dinner. It was an evening not to be forgotten for the couples, the guests, or MWR that planned for months to make it happen.
When we were looking at the calendar and we wanted to do a lobster night and saw that Valentine's night falls on a Saturday, we were just overjoyed that we could do this and have a special night for Valentine's Day for our soldiers and their families. In fact, we sold out of our allotted seats that we had for this event within a week.
A newcomer to Fort Benning brought the lobster night idea to post. MWR was agreeable, and the Benning Club was more than capable of delivering. The response?
I think people are really enjoying it. People are out there, and the lobsters are so big, they're covering the plate. People are just cracking into them. The steaks are looking juicy and delicious, and I think the Benning Club staff has really hit it out of the park tonight.
This is a busy time of year for MWR, not only with ongoing activities like recreational shooting and regular fishing tournaments, but with a full slate of spring sports about to start and special events such as concerts and the annual Independence Day blowout already well into the planning stages.
MWR's mission is essentially to take care of soldiers and families. Our calendar this year is just, packed with all kinds of activities.
But for this crowd of Valentine's Day sweethearts, their evening did not end with dinner. The stars of Germany's piano battle gave a performance that ranged from the sublime to the ridiculous. The audience voted on their favorite piano battle performer, but it was clear the real winner was the Fort Benning community, thanks largely to MWR's openness to best practices from other installations and their effort to see them realized.
MWR is here to serve you. We are always open to suggestions, and we highly encourage folks to use the ICE system to send us their suggestions and their feedback on our services.
For a full schedule of events, visit BenningMWR.com. David Wright, Fort Benning TV.
You're not sad about those lobsters, are you?
They were really cute.
And tasty. But cheer up, one of those MWR concerts will be the Eli Young Band next month.
I know, I'm excited about that. And that'll bring this edition of the Benning Report to an end.
But you can watch these stories and others on youtube.com/BenningTV or at benning.army.mil.
And you can also like us on Facebook.
From the Public Affairs Office, thanks for watching.